In this demonstration, we are going to learn how to create our very first integration in Oracle Integration Gen3 instance. First of all, I have logged into my integration instance and I will be navigating to the projects. Suppose if this window is not visible in your instance, then you have to just click on this navigation menu which is available on the left top corner. Click on this and you have to click on the projects. Projects are used to group the integrations which are sharing the common artifacts or the components. Consider that I am building an integration for human capital management, that is for HCM. You can create projects related to HCM modules like HCM helpdesk, HCM payroll, so on and so forth. And all the integrations which are related to the payroll, you can add under the payroll project, and which are coming under other modules, you can assign under their respective projects. So this is the purpose of projects. And apart from grouping the integrations, projects are having a lot of benefits which we will see over the period of time. Now for the simplicity purpose, I will click on this add button on the right top corner, that is to create our very first project. Click on this and I will click on create. Here I am going to name this as demo project 01. If I want to give the description or some keyword using which we can tag this project, then we can provide the keyword over here and also the short description which can help our teammates or the colleagues who are sharing this instance. I will click on create. Our project has been created successfully. On successfully creation of project, user will be straight away navigated to this project's dashboard page. At the top, we will see our name, that is for the project. Now there are a lot of things what we can do within the project. We can build an integration, we can build a robot, that is the RPA robot. We can build the decisioning logic which is required for our integration. There is this healthcare and there is this B2B. Now first of all, I will create an integration. In this demonstration, we will create an integration using which we can expose our integration over the REST protocol. In other words, we are going to see how we can create a REST API using the integration. If you want to expose any integration over the REST, the protocol which REST uses is the HTTP. Now, in order to expose our integration, first of all, we have to build the connection using which we can expose the integrations over the protocols. Now, if I click on this add connection, I will see a lot of connections over here like AQ, AS2, Adobe Sign, so on and so forth. Now, coming to the REST connection or the SOAP connection or the FTP, these are called as technology adapters. These are not tied to a specific vendor like the Azure or Facebook or Google. Rather, these are the pure technology things, that is HTTP protocol which is used in SOAP or REST. And also the FTP database connections those are vendor neutral. Now I have to search over here the REST as I'm going to expose my integration over the REST protocol. There is this Salesforce REST which we don't want to use because this is exclusively for Salesforce as the name mentions. We have to go for this REST which is the technology connection. Here I will name this as this is used in order to expose our integration, which means trigger. Using this connection, we are going to trigger our integration. I will tell this as trigger REST connection. Now coming to the role, trigger connection, if we select over here, then this connection will be used only for starting the integration, that is for invocation purpose. Suppose if you go for invoke, then this cannot be used to initiate the request for the integration. Rather, this connection will be used to call the external REST endpoints within our integration. Like suppose if you are building an integration to call the Fusion REST API, then you have to go for the invoke. In that case, this connection cannot be used to trigger the integration or create the instance of the integration which you are building. Rather, this will be used to call the external endpoints. So in order to avoid the confusion, I will just go for this trigger because our purpose of creating this connection is just to start the integration or pass the message to the integration using the Postman or some other applications. So for that purpose, I will select the role as trigger. And the same thing keyword, if you want to provide over here, you can provide so that you can tag all the components using this keyword. Description, a short description that is of 1000 characters is supported over here. using which your colleagues will be knowing for what purpose you have created this connection. I will tell over here, this connection is created just to start the integration or create the instance of the integration. Now there is one more option, share with other projects. As I told, we can have n number of projects in our instance. Like we are considering building the integrations for human capital management. Then we can have projects for HR help desk, payroll, so on and so forth. And similarly, coming to the ERP, we can have similar projects for supply related things or banking related things. Like this, we can consider the project module, so on and so forth. There are a lot of possibilities for which you will be building the integrations using Oracle integration. Suppose if you want to share this connection with other projects so that you can avoid creating duplicate connections, then you can mark this as share with other projects. No, we are not going to share this connection with other projects. Rather, we will keep this connection exclusive for this project itself. I will click on create. Suppose if you have created the REST connection that is using the role as trigger, then you will see a simple configuration over here. Now coming to the security, there are two options. Our integration could be exposed over the basic authentication method or the R2.0, wherein we can generate the token from the IDCS or the IAM and call the integration using this bearer token. So both the options are available. Suppose if your integration you want to build such that the user or the consumer can authenticate using basic credentials like username and password or using the auth 2.0 bearer token, then you can go for both the methods. Once you have selected that, click on the test and we can click on save. So you will be seeing this configuration progress as 100%. With this set, we will go back. Once you have created the connection, our job is next to create the integration. Click on add. We are having three options. We can create the integration from scratch. Suppose if you want to import the integration from some other instance, then we can export the file from the other instance and import it over here using the IAR file. That option is also available. Suppose if you have created a similar integration in a different project within the same instance, then you can go for the copy and you can copy the integration which is available in different project over here. Now we are going to create a fresh integration that is from scratch. I will go for create. Now there are three options. Our focus over here is to expose our integration over the REST protocol or the REST endpoint. In that case, we have to go for the application. So if you go for application, then there should be some external force which should trigger our integration, like the Postman, similar kind of applications, wherein the applications or the users can send the request to the integration and the integration will be triggered. Now you don't want anyone to trigger our integration, rather integration should trigger on its own. Then you can go for the scheduled integration and set the frequency like every 1 hour or every 5 minutes or every day, so and so time it should trigger the integration. Then using this scheduled integration, it will be automatically scheduled to run at a predefined frequency. Now there is events as well using which we can build the decoupled integrations like a messaging queue. So all these options are available. For this demonstration, we are going to build just a simple integration wherein we will send a name in the request to the integration and in the response, we will be seeing the message saying hello and the name. I will go for application and I will name this as greetings integration int. So I will tell this integration is our first integration to send back the greetings message. Similar to connections, there is an option available within the project wherein we can expose our integration to other projects as well. So using this option that is available to other projects, but we don't want to share this integration to other projects. We want to keep this integration exclusive within this project. Click on create. As soon as you click on create, user will be navigated to this canvas where we can build our integration using the simple low code, that is by just dragging and dropping. So once you have landed into the integration designer canvas, you will have this pop-up over here if you have selected the application integration. So currently we are having only one connection with the role as trigger. Now you will get an option over here, only those connections to select whose role is trigger. Suppose if you have the invoke only, then that will not be available over here. And suppose if you have created a connection with both trigger and invoke, then it will be visible over here. Let's suppose if you have not got this pop-up, then we can manually click on this plus so that we can get this pop-up. In order to expose our integration over REST protocol or HTTP, we have to use the connection which we created with the role as trigger. I will select this trigger connection. I will tell this as trigger. So up to 11 maximum verbs we can create. So this is nothing but if your endpoints ends with /helpdesk, then you can build up to 11 verbs like helpdesk/create, helpdesk/update, helpdesk/delete, so and so forth. Now we are not going to focus on creating multiple resources. I will rather go for the single resource for this integration. Click on continue. Next, it will ask what will be the endpoint URI. I will tell this as this is the demo01 endpoint. Coming to the HTTP method, integration supports so many HTTP methods like get, put, post, delete and patch. In this case, we are going to send the name to the integration in the body. So in that case, get will not work. Get is just to pull the information from system. In that case, we can go for get, where we don't pass any information to the integration instance. Suppose if you are passing any information for integration, then you have to go for post. As soon as you click on post, there are few parameters enabled over here. Suppose if you want to send the request, then you have to check mark this. In our case, we will be sending the name. And in the response, we will get the greetings. Now coming to the headers and the response headers, we can go for the standard HTTP headers over here or the custom. Let's click on this continue. Now it is asking to provide the sample JSON over here. Suppose if you are having the file, then you can attach over here the same file which is having the JSON sample. Apart from JSON, integration supports XML, XML sample, that is known space, and the binary. These things are available over here. JSON sample, XML sample, XSD or the XML schema, and the binary. I will rather go for inline. I don't want to create a file and upload. Rather, I will make use of our low-code offering of integration where we can provide everything on the fly, that is using just the browser on our computer. I will tell over here the name. Name I will give as Umar. That will be fine. This is a simple JSON message we are going to pass to integration. So this is my request. Click on continue. And the response also I will go for JSON sample. When you select this JSON sample, automatically the response body will change to JSON. I will click on this inline and I will provide the response, that is the greetings. Greetings. Hello. Have a nice day. So this is just the sample. Actual mapping we have to do within our integration. Click on continue. So using the connection canvas or the configuration over here, we are just telling this will be the sample data what integration could expect from the user. Like we told in the request, user can send the name, and in the response, we can expect user to see the greetings. Now there are a couple of ways how we can see this canvas, that is in the vertical or in the horizontal, and also using this outline. So whatever is your preference, you can select over here. I will go for the horizontal and click on the map. The mapper is used in order to transform the messages in Oracle integration. In our case, the request and the response we had configured in the trigger connection while configuring, and we had provided input as name and output as greeting, and the same will be visible over here, greetings, and in the request, that is under the request wrapper, we have name. Now what I will do is, I want to put the message that is hello, have a nice day. So you can map something like this, name to greetings, and it will show the name as is. But this is not our requirement. I will get rid of this. Click on this clear. Rather, I want to concatenate the string saying hello, have a nice day, and the name. Now we have to click on this functions over here, toggle functions, and we can go for the string functions. Concatenation is part of the string function. We can drag and drop it over here. Suppose if you don't know how you get this expression mode, we have to just click over here. Or there is a mapping already. Let me just delete this mapping. Right click and delete the mapping. And also we can delete the target node as well. When you launch this mapper, everything will be grayed out on the target side. and you cannot see this expression. So one of the way is you can drag this concat on the greetings. It will open up the expression mode for our greetings element. Now here we have to provide the string in the comma separated value. I will tell hello space, and we will put the name of the user which is sent in the request. That is, I will place the cursor over here and drop the name, comma, and again I will start by single quotes and say have a nice day. Click on validate the mapper, and we are good to activate our integration. Let me click on save. Before we activate our integration and is the integration, we have to make sure we don't have any errors over here. Click on this, there is this error. If you click on this, it will tell there is the primary business identifier missing. Now in any integration which you are going for application type, we have to add the business identifier which is used for tracking. In other words, you are assigning a unique value within your integration instance to the business identifier field which we can use to track. In order to do that, if you click on this, it says business identifiers, and here there are three options where we can attach the unique value. At least one should be mapped. So in this case, what we will do is the name itself we are seeing in the request wrapper, and the same I will map over here. Like suppose if you are creating a supplier or updating a supplier, then supplier name or the ID you can map like this, so that when the instances are getting created, you can track the instances efficiently as the production, where you will have humongous instances at the runtime, and filtering those instances without identifiers will be a very difficult activity. Now with this said, we will activate this integration. Go back, click on save, and I will quickly activate my integration. Click on activate. I will go for debug mode. Production mode, if you select, you won't see any audit. And if you go for the audit, very minimal additional wire payloads are shown in the activity, and data is written only for 8 days. And if you go for the debug mode, up to 1000 iterations within the loop will be logged over here. So there are different logging mechanisms, or we can trace each and every invocation within our loop and all using this debug mode. So you can go for debug for development purpose. Click on activate. Our integration is activated successfully. You will see the status over here. You can just refresh over the tab and see if it is active or not. Let me run this integration. Click on run. Go over to the body, and here we can give Umar and click on run. So this is going to pass the payload to this integration, and in the response we are seeing the message saying greeting, hello Umar, have a nice day. So like this, we can build a very simple integration using our Oracle Integration Gen3 instance. And we had selected this debug mode. Using this debug mode, we will be seeing each and every trace of the flow in our integration. Like what was the request we sent, if you see, request was like this, and in the response, if you see, we got the response, something like JSON. And each and every data mapping or invocation will be logged like this. If you go for production, it won't be logged. Now you might ask, we have built the integration. Suppose I want to call this from Visual Builder or Apex or any other place. How I will be getting the endpoint? Suppose if you go for this endpoint metadata, you will get each and every endpoint how you can call this integration instead. And also there is the sample request and the response messages available. We can go for this Swagger and get the very beautiful Swagger documentation for our integration instance. And also there is this OpenAPI URL as well. Now, if you want to just use this endpoint URL, you can copy this and call from any of the applications. I have copy pasted the URL which I copied from the endpoint metadata over here in the Postman, and this is the URL which you are seeing on the screen. Coming to the body, I have put the name which is expected in my integration, and the HTTP method I have selected the post, and authorization I have populated my credentials. Our integration is exposed using the connection, which is using the security as auth 2.0 as well as basic credential. So I'm calling with the help of basic credentials, and in the name I'm passing Suleiman. If I click on send, I will be getting the greeting saying hello Suleiman, have a nice day. So like this, in very simple steps and in very few seconds or minutes, we can build a integration and make it up and running with just few clicks using Oracle Integration Gen 3.